Good afternoon, and welcome to the Baseball and Beers podcast. I'm your host, John Nee, along with my co-host, J.R. Nicholas.
Hello.
How are you today?
Very good. We're going to drink some spring ale from Sam Adams.
Ooh,
Jumping
like
right into it because it feels like spring out here. Johnny, give us a little weather report.
Yeah, beautiful out here today. Hitting in, I think, in the mid-50s I saw.
I think it might get close to 60 degrees today.
I mean, it finally feels like,
unbelievable.
Less than a month to go till the season starts.
Right.
March 26th, a little early this year.
So we're transitioning to some spring beverages.
Spring beverages, I like it. From the winter ale onto the
Yes, you go
to
Giant or Acme or some places, drink local. You get a mix 6-pack for $13.99. Used to be $11.99. I like it when these were like $2 a piece. Now they're like $2.25.
Hey, inflation, man. Shit's going up.
It is.
It goes up.
But what do you think? Here, cheers.
Drink good beer,
cheers.
you got to pay for it.
You got to pay for it. It's good. It's worth it though. This is probably not going to be a favorite of mine, but I'm going to give it a go.
Hey, we're going to give it a whirl. All right, so anyway, folks, let's jump right into it. We're a couple weeks into spring training. We have a short spring training this year. For some of the players are going to be leaving for the World Baseball Classic.
I approve.
And all right, good.
And hold on, wait a second. Looks like someone's going to the principal's office with them notes there, Johnny.
Yeah, they are.
Sorry.
So anyway, we have a short spring training, about 3 weeks left now until the season starts. So we find ourselves in K-Lot on March 26th for the opening game.
27th.
27th?
Yes.
Okay, 27th.
And it's not 3 o'clock, it's 4:10.
What, they push it back?
It's 4:10.
Okay, well, it gives me a little more time to get home from work.
You can take a half day and not have to rush as much.
That's exactly what I'm doing. A little half day, getting out of work early, half day, and get down to K-Lot and get started.
Yes.
So anyway, what I wanted to jump in today, folks, being that we got 3 weeks to go, some of the players will be, some of the main guys will be leaving, like I said, to play in the World Baseball Classic. So we're going to get to see a lot of these, a lot of guys that Dombrowski brought in this year, and some minor league guys, vying for some spots on the bench. Vying for looks like Marsh is going to be a left fielder with a platoon. We got some suspects out there. Look, right now it looks like Kemp's going to be the guy, but they got a couple guys they brought in.
Yeah, as long as if Kemp's bat is healthy, then and he's good. He's a candidate.
Not an outfielder, he's more of an infielder, but they're going to transition him to the outfield because that seems to be what the Phillies do in left field, folks. They seem to just get players that are infielders and say, hey, let's put them in left field.
Because we don't have a position in the infield for them. You got Baum, you got Turner.
Nah, the infield's set. We know that.
Yeah, we know the infield's not going anywhere just yet.
There's a lot of talk
you'll get to the Baum later.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk with the infield. Baum possibly being traded at the deadline and Aiden Miller coming up.
I don't think so.
I mean, to be honest, I think Aiden Miller needs a full year in the minor leagues. He may prove me wrong with that, get down there and have a great first half. And if the Phillies can move Baum, who's a free agent and by all accounts is probably going to leave like some players have left, and the Phillies have got nothing for them. So there's a chance you could see Miller.
The norm, right?
Yeah, it seems like
getting nothing for them.
But I mean, that's a big ask to have a kid to come up and replace Baum.
Yeah, it's a little premature.
In August, after the trade deadline, for a playoff team with World Series aspirations.
Yes.
So that would be a big thing. So I think their infield's pretty much set. I don't see Baum leaving at the trade deadline unless somebody really blows them away with an offer, which hasn't been there apparently the last two off seasons. If the Phillies were dangling Baum, we hear that a lot. Maybe they are, maybe they weren't.
And now, as you brought it up in the last podcast, the front office of the Philadelphia Phillies is pretty easy to fuck with.
We're gonna get into Dombrowski and Middleton right now. Right now, let's do it right now, folks.
Go ahead.
So I wrote out some notes here today because I didn't want to forget anything. Sometimes we get talking a lot on our beers, and I forget a couple points I want to get across. So I'm going to hit on Dombrowski and Middleton a little bit. I got a little list here of things that I've seen have gone wrong in the last year. Number one, they bungled the Castellanos situation. Saying we're going to cut him, try to trade him, this and that. No GM out there was giving you anything once you said you may cut this guy.
Again, that was a major blunder.
Totally made him worthless.
Should have never opened their mouth.
And now you gave him away, and you're going to pay $20 million for him, thus making Adolis Garcia a $30 million right fielder since you signed him for 10 years.
Yes.
So they traded Matt Strom, folks, for basically next to nothing. Jonathan Bolin. Look.
For a bag of balls.
He's probably a decent reliever and down around the 6th, 7th, 8th spot in your bullpen. Matt Strom was a lefty specialist for you. He's been here the last couple years. He's playoff tested, and so that I think they lost there. They alienated Bryce Harper. I mean, your star player.
I'm going to make a comment about that,
another
if I may.
bad thing to do.
The the thing that Harper said at the beginning of spring training. I think this is a Breakaway Blonde, another refreshing, like warm weather beverage. This is probably some beach beer, but we're getting started a little early with the snow.
Blonde ale, right?
Blonde ale. Yeah, it's great. Harper said at the beginning of spring training, like it was kind of disappointed that they didn't keep things behind closed doors, like keep it in house.
Well, we can address that a little bit too, because Harper,
and that's the same with like the Strom or the Castellanos. With Castellanos incident in Miami and stuff, they could have like kind of swept that under the rug for a while, not said shit, and then try to trade him, but not go announcing that. We're going to kick him to the curb and get nothing for him.
Exactly. They bungled. He bungled.
And San Diego GM's just waiting for him to get released.
And we'll address Harper a little later, too, because I want to get to something about that.
But I think Harper made a viable point there. Like, I'm
going to contest you on that in a bit.
Okay.
And we'll go back and forth on that. So, another one, folks. They failed to re-sign. And if you knew you weren't going to re-sign him, maybe you could have traded him at the deadline, Ranger Suarez. Another for me, the guy just walked away for nothing.
But we wanted him for the playoffs, probably.
And then... the Bo Bichette situation. You thought you had him signed. The last minute, the Mets swoop in, however you want to say it, and they steal him right out from under the rug.
I said this last time. Why didn't you keep Ranger then? If you spent all this money, keep
nothing for nothing. Look, you lose Bichette to, back to Toronto, over to the San Francisco Giants, Padres, someone like that. So be it. You lost him to a team you're directly competing with for a playoff spot. Just how that happened is beyond me. And then finally, in my opinion, they have failed to address the biggest Achilles heel of this team for now the last 4 or 5 years, and that's the outfield situation. Speaking of that, listen to some of the guys they've gone after. So here's some of the names, folks. I looked back. So 23, Jake Cave, Johan Rojas, Dalton Guthrie, Christian Pache.
Pache was a disaster.
2024.
He played too much.
David Dahl, Whit Merrifield, and traded for Austin Hayes, who got hurt, so we're going to kind of give him a pass.
Unlucky.
And then in 25, Weston Wilson and Max Kepler. Folks, please, this year. Now, this is, we don't know what's going to happen here. So obviously they went out and they got Garcia to replace Castellanos. Otto Kemp looks like he'll probably be the left field platoon partner with Marsh. And they're going to give Crawford a chance, which rightfully so they should. He's done everything he can in the minor leagues. And then, so some of the guys competing for either that 4th spot with Kemp and the 5th spot in the outfield. It's going to be Johan Rojas again. Brian De La Cruz. And Pedro Leon.
Oh, I got one more guy I want to throw out there. What happened to that Buddy Kennedy guy?
Buddy Kennedy was traded last year.
He was traded. At the end of last year?
During the season, they didn't. When they sent him down, he may have been out of options.
So he was
Toronto.
He was out.
I believe he may end up.
He might have got a ring.
He may have gotten a ring. I'll have to look it up, see if he actually played some games with Toronto. There's a possibility he got a ring. Pedro Leon, he's another guy like the Phillies brought in this year. So that's the bench. And then they got Dylan Moore, an infielder they picked up from Seattle, all 200 career batting average of them. Can play multiple positions, kind of a Scott Kingery, jack of all trades. No bat.
We need bat.
If this guy makes the team, if this Moore makes the team, I believe he's in his 30s, and he is a jack of all trades, outfield, infield, moves around, but he hits about 200. If you're going to do that, you should have just cut Kingery again for his speed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So just the things they've done in this outfield position over the years, it's been mind-boggling to me. And to be quite honest, it's a failure for a team of aging stars who has about a 2 to 3 year window right now. Look, JT's got 2 to 3 years. Okay, Harper, Schwarber, Wheeler, Noller.
3-4 years.
These guys, 3 years, 4 years. These guys are getting older. We've seen this with Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, Victorino. You held on to these guys. So
remember
now
those guys
is
were
the
getting
time.
older. Those guys were getting older, and we signed Papelbon to a huge deal when we didn't need him. And then he didn't he pitched good for 1 year, and then it was like he really wasn't used.
I mean, look,
then we traded him away.
I
hope Rojas works out as far as the extra outfielders.
Can't hit.
Yeah, but
Marsh can't hit lefties.
Maybe I'm just saying hopefully he can turn it around and bunt if he's allowed to, things like that. Who knows?
I mean, look, for me, Middleton has spent the money, folks. It's not been spent right.
Yeah,
so he spent the money. We have a high payroll. Okay, and like I said, you have a team of aging stars that has a 2 to 3 year window here to try to win a World Series. Look, Harper does not win a World Series. Do you declare this a failure if he goes through his career here and never brings us a World Series?
No.
Are they getting them the right pieces in here? They brought in this Buddy Turner. They re-signed Schwarber. So, they're the top 3, Turner, Harper, Schwarber. They have to produce, along with some of these other guys that you're putting in here. We have a little help coming from the minors this year, hopefully in Painter and Crawford, and then possibly Miller. Maybe he gets an August, September call up.
Sure.
Maybe if it's just pinch hitting, just to be on the bench. Maybe he gets a roster spot in the playoffs. I don't know.
You've said this about other players. They need to play every day. Like bringing them up to like come off the bench and stuff.
They're not going to do that.
Isn't really going
to
develop him anymore. You know, it's just he needs to play every day. If he's going to come up, he's got to play. Because say, Baum gets injured, or Harper gets injured, and Baum goes to first. Boom.
Yeah, Miller
can't play Sosa every day.
They probably would. They probably would just stick with Sosa.
They'll platoon Sosa. Sosa will be at third. He'll be at second.
Yeah,
benching Stott 3 times a week.
Absolutely.
You'll probably touch on that little shit.
Stott's going to be in a platoon for sure. And that.
Yeah,
folks, just at this point, cross that next luxury tax barrier. Whatever you need to do, come trade. You didn't do it in the offseason.
Get
here.
it now.
They almost tried to whip Bichette. And I'm not sure they even would have, because we kind of heard the stories, if Bichette came in, JT, and they probably would have traded Baum and went with Sosa at third. They're saving money. They're staying right there.
Would the team have been better?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Like, sure, he's a hefty bat, and he can protect Harper, and he's in the lineup. But then you might lose Baum. You might not sign JT.
We don't have a catcher
anywhere in our
system. Raphael Marchand is not
JT,
the answer.
Who's our catcher?
You would be going with Marchand this year. Maybe they
hits. I can hit better than Marchand.
They might pick up a veteran catcher out there somewhere. Maybe they'd have to trade.
That's a fucking Band-Aid.
Again, getting back to my point, a team with World Series aspirations. Look. Phillies were a 96-win team last year, folks. They played the Dodgers tough in the playoffs. A hit or two here and there, a healthy Wheeler and Bader. Maybe they beat the Dodgers. I really believe that. They were in every game.
Those first two at home were brutal.
It didn't happen.
That sucked, man.
It didn't happen. So be it. Whatever. But here's the problem. Did the Phillies get better from that 96-win team? No. Did they get worse? Maybe not.
No.
Probably the same.
Pretty much the same.
The problem is the Dodgers got better. They won 2 back-to-back World Series and went out and got Diaz and Tucker. I mean, they're better, folks.
The Tucker contract's ridiculous.
Look, the Braves, if they're healthy now,
the Braves are healthy.
They got some pitching problems again already. A couple guys went down, so they're having some issues there. The Braves, but they're going to be, they'll
be relevant this year.
And the Mets are going to be good this year. The Phillies are not going to run away with this division.
No, they're not.
And so now, since
it's us and the Mets with the Braves hanging in there too. I don't think the Braves are going to be. They were just too banged up last year.
And they're starting out a little bit, like I said, with their pitching staff right now. They're hurting a little bit.
Some teams are going to have injuries. This is Sierra Nevada Springfest. We're staying with the spring theme here.
On this beautiful
I'm
day.
a big fan of Sierra Nevada, so pretty much every beer they make is a home run. So here we go, Johnny.
Yep. I mean, so getting back to it, just
get up.
A team that's on the cusp of trying to win a World Series, and again, in my humble opinion, the next 2 or 3 years they're going to have to do it. You've spent you're so invested with the money you spent.
Go all in.
Go all in. You didn't before the season. They're going to have the trade deadline. Now, they had a good trade deadline last year.
Yeah,
Durant and Bader was a good trade deadline.
And our bullpen's really solid.
They're really going to have to hit on it this year. They're going to have to bring in a difference maker of a bat. Look,
we need a
Garcia could
need a bat.
Turn his offense around a little.
Hopefully.
He's a better outfielder than Castellanos. He's got a good glove out there, a good arm. He's a better outfielder in that regards. He could rebound to a 30, 35 homer. If he could bat 240, 250, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Maybe he's the bat in the 4th spot behind Harper. Maybe
I hope
not.
So. Because it's not Baum and it's not JT.
For
now, it's not.
For me, and this is never going to happen, but Turner would lead off. Okay, I'd have Harper batting second.
Sure.
Righty lefty. Baum would hit 30, drives and runs. We know Baum drives and close to 100 every year. And Schwarber being a cleanup spot.
And then you're Garcia.
And then Garcia. I mean, and I'd go and after that, whatever. Stott, Marsh, then JT, and Crawford, wherever he slots in.
Well, if Topper were to do that and it started working, he'd probably force himself to tinker with it. And,
of course he would.
And fuck around.
Yes,
and not leave it alone. And have Stott sitting on the bench 3 times a week. And we keep, complaining. We complain about that every podcast.
Yes, we do.
And we will continue to do so.
So, I mean, I do like the team. Don't get me wrong.
I do too. I think we can win the division. If we're healthy, there's no reason we can't.
We should win the division.
We should win the division. Muck the Feds.
I mean, I think Kemp's going to hit. I don't know average-wise. He might be a 240, 250 hitter, but he's got some pop in his bat. He can hit 8 to 10 home runs.
JT can hold it down at the bottom of the lineup and, be decent.
Yep,
He's a great catcher. He's not going to be in the middle of the order. He'll be 7th, 8th.
Hopefully
like 7th or 8th.
I'm hoping from 6 to 9 is basically some combination. It's going to be of, Stott, Stott Sosa, JT, Crawford and Marsh and Kemp. They're going to be down the bottom of the order. So
kind of bouncing in and out of those spots.
You know, I do like the team there. The bench gives me a little agita, you know what I mean? So, I mean, look, we got Stubbs and Marchand and Camp as the only two catchers. Stubby right now looks like he has 8 at-bats. It's early, folks. We've only played a week, but he's 2 for 8. Batting 250 with an RBI.
Okay.
Marchand appears to be 0 for 9 right now. You know, we know he hit bad last year.
Yeah, it was as good.
Moore, like I said, utility infielder. He's 1 for 10. He's batting 100. De La Cruz, he's 1 for 10, batting 100. He's a non-roster invitee. So
every team has these stats.
He's going to be.
Everybody's kind of weak.
Yeah,
right
he's struggling. Rojas is off to a 111 start. He's got what 6? He's 1 for 9 here. Kemp's batting 100. He looks like he's got, let me see, 6, 8, 10. He's 1 for 10 with a homer.
They're seeing some really shitty pitching too, dude. Like,
of course.
I mean, he should be getting a hit every other bat.
I mean, again, it's early. I get it.
It's early.
But this is our choices, folks, what I'm getting at here.
In another week or so, it's not going to be early anymore.
You know, a couple of these guys, this is your bench. Pedro Leon, okay? He's doing okay. He's got 2 for 70. All right, he looks like he's 3 for 8. He's hitting 308 with an RBI.
Fantastic.
Is it? That's the Sierra Nevada, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got a little overjoyed. My spring beer.
Oh, yeah, that is good.
That's nice.
That is good. Which brings us next into the pitching, the starting pitching. Look, Wheeler's ahead of schedule. He's throwing a bullpen the other day, 21 pitches or something. So
yeah, Wheeler's hopefully on the track to come back.
I seen something yesterday where, well, no, they're targeting like the middle of April. I think that's a little, you know,
optimistic.
Yeah. Although April 23rd would mark 7 months since his surgery in September.
Well, how about weather permitting? If it's cold and raw and raining, I don't want him starting.
I think May 1st would be a good. You know, he can miss a month. He can miss a month.
I agree. Yeah.
So Wheeler's progressing. So you know we're gonna have Walker and Painter in the last 2 spots there in the pitching staff, and I'm okay with that in April.
I'm fine with that.
And if Wheeler comes back in May, hopefully Painter has established himself for his 4 starts or so. We'll get in April, and Walker makes the move to the bullpen. And hopefully he has a couple good starts, and maybe he could be.
He can.
They could dangle him for
some. Not to trading.
He could be a trade candidate.
Hopefully Nola's Nola, and we got the 2 lefties.
Nola is the big key here
Nola's
to rebounding this year for this staff. If Nola rebounds into a decent pitcher, 6-7 innings, an ERA like low 3s, we got something this year then with Wheeler and Luzardo and Sanchez. Nola would be your number 4 and Painter your 5th. If Painter and Nola just round out and can give them a 3 ERA, 6 or 7 innings, this staff's going to be really good.
I think the staff's pretty good, and I like our bullpen too.
You know, our bullpen's set. You know, the top 5 guys.
I think it's pretty good.
Duran, Kakarin.
And hopefully it'll shape up with the last 3 positions.
Yeah, there's only 3. We have 3 available. Look, we have Duran, Kakarin, Keller, who they brought in a free agent. Good move by Dombrowski there. And then we're going to go with Banks and Alvarado as the lefties. So, speaking of the guys we brought in, so we have in camp right now Kyle Backus. He's got an inning under his belt with a strikeout already. He's doing okay. Bolin, who we mentioned, traded for Strom. He's a righty. Backus a lefty. They brought in a guy, Chase Shugart from Pittsburgh. He's got, I believe, 2 or 3 innings already, no runs given up.
Okay.
So there's 3 that could be in there. And then we have, the usual suspect, Max Lazar, who was here last year. He's
what's his name?
He's 3 innings. Seth Johnson.
Seth Johnson we kind of like. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
He's starter converted into the bullpen.
Some
for the
good
Phillies,
competition for those spots.
There's a few, and then they got they brought back Tim Mays on a non-roster invite. He's a lefty specialist, pitched pretty well, and we brought him up. Local guy. Like him a lot. He's a guy. I told you I met Tim's parents down in the city. Nice people. Yes. Very nice people. He's a local guy again, like I said, Tim. So I'm pulling for him. Kind of see a local guy on the team's always fun. So so the bullpen's got some spots, and they got some depth. Some of these guys that don't make the team,
maybe they're in the minors.
They're going to head to the minors
unless they can't go to the minors.
Well, some are out of options. Some have options. And then Zach Pop, they brought in other guys pitching.
Like these 2, the 2 we just mentioned, Laser and Johnson. They could be in the minors.
Yeah, they go back to the minors again. I'd have to see if they're out of options,
if there's injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then you got Zach Pop's pitching pretty good, and a guy I like. Not Zach Pop. Pop's pitching good. A guy I like, Zach McCambly. So Zach, I mentioned him in the last podcast. He's one of their Rule 5 picks, which means, folks, I explained it last week. Most people know, some probably don't. On a Rule 5 pick, you have to keep them on your roster the whole season. The second you try to send them down, you have to offer them back to the team he was on or trade them. It's something the union put in so guys don't just get signed by teams and stashed in the minors and never really get a shot unless when a team wants to bring them up. So I really like this McCambly kid. I would probably put him as the mop-up guy. You know, one of your starters only goes 3 innings. He's getting hit hard. Hey, McCamley, get out there. Give me the 4th and 5th, maybe 6th inning. Sure. Another game, you're up 10 runs or something in the 8th or 9th. He can give you 2 innings. I like the kid. I like the same hold on to him.
A lot of good stuff there. Yeah.
So we have a lot of depth, folks, in the pitching staff. The offense, like I said, everything kind of pretty much seems the same for me. For me right now,
just let's get a consistent batting order, like we were talking about a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like your lineup is pretty viable.
My lineup means nothing because we know that Topper would never put Harper in the second spot.
Well, I mean, he can run too and steal bases, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, like Schwarber's not going to steal you any bases.
No, Schwarber's not running.
Like,
he looks good. He lost some weight. He looks good.
But he
does move a little better now, but.
He can run a little bit faster than me.
Yes. Right. My son always makes a pretty funny comparison. Every time he sees Schwarber with a ball in a gap, he compares him to Ted, the little bear running with Mark Wahlberg. He says Schwarber looks like Ted. I can never get that out of my head. Ted running when Schwarber gets a hit. Sorry, Kyle, if you're out there, if you ever see this, but it is funny. We do love you hitting homers, but it is funny, a little comparison to Ted. Maybe when you were a little heavier, not so much now. So, right. And look, I was never no speed demon on the base path, so I'm not making fun of you there, Kyle. It's just, something that's funny, funny little thing between me and my son, and it's funny.
So,
man.
But I like your lineup though. I do. I like it. I like it behind Garcia, behind Schwarber.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, this guy's brought in. He's a home run hitter.
And like Schwarber's not that. He's not a bomb with the high average. So having him bat cleanup would kind of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
If he's not going to lead off, like.
Hey, look,
I don't know.
Here's the bottom line.
Don't fuck with it and have like Schwarber leading off one day and Turner. Like don't flip flop all that. Don't just enough with that shit.
Look, nothing's going to change this. We know this. Harper, Schwarber, Garcia. These guys are going to strike out 100 times, 100 plus times. I mean, it's just going to happen.
Well,
Harper and Schwarber are also going to walk 100 times, but they're going to strike out. They swing aggressively.
I'm hoping Harper kind of like, sticks it to him and is a little more selective. And,
I'm going to go on record right now and say I personally expect an MVP type season from Harper if he's healthy. If he plays 145 games, he's going to hit over 30 homers. He's going to drive in 100 runs, and I'm going to give him a 285, 290 average this year.
Sure. Okay.
I just think he's angry. He's upset with the team, and we'll get to that again. I told you we would talk back on that, keeping it behind closed doors. So here's what I would say with that. Has Harper kept his desire with his agent for a new contract behind closed doors? No, he hasn't.
No,
He's kept that out in the public pitching. That's your play. That's sour grapes there. So Dombrowski said something. Your feelings got hurt. I think Dombrowski may have more said, was it a motivation type of thing? Possibly. Was it dumb? This day and age, in my opinion, folks, look, there's no Dallas Greens anymore that Larry Boas that can yell at these players and light a fire under his ass. These guys are making $25 million a year. They don't listen no more. Castellanos has been disrespecting Rob Thompson when he was on the team and since he's left here, saying the guy didn't play, never played in the game in the pros. Kevin Long didn't play. Who cares? They know the game. They're managers. But you know what I mean? These guys are, they're paid big money. It's hard to coach them now. So as far as Dombrowski trying to light a fire under Harper's ass, maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. Harper's pissed off. Good. You know what? I say good to that. Go ahead. You know what, Harper? He doesn't know if you're going to be elite. You know what? Prove him wrong. Go out and be elite. You made your little shirt. Not elite in bat and practice. Said it didn't bother him, but then you came out with a not elite T-shirt on. So sour grapes with Harper. Sometimes he can be. I love Harper. Look, I got a Harper shirt upstairs. I was excited as hell when they signed him.
Guy, dude. It
was the first thing I said to my daughter when I picked her up at the airport. I heard it on the radio. She got in the car. I said, the Phillies signed Harper. My daughter just was like, "Hey, Dad, it's great to be home."
Only to be trumped by the Jonas Brothers reuniting.
You know what I mean? So
kind of ruined my afternoon.
Yeah. So Harper's a favorite of mine, but he can be a little soft sometimes. I think with this type of stuff.
Whatever. I think he's got a big heart, man.
Do we want to introduce one more here before we kind of run out of
going.
things? I don't want to bore you folks for 40, 50 minutes.
We have 2 more to drink, so talk more shit, and I'll introduce this Headwaters Pale Ale from Victory Brewing Company. I was just reading the back of the can about like the water being the most important ingredient. Beer from the Brandywine Creek. I don't know if that's a big deal to me.
Float it down the Brandywine in a raft once.
It's like Like, is that something you really want to advertise on the back of your beer? Like, for the Brandywine Creek?
No.
It's not like the fucking springs from, like, you know,
noise in
like
the background here,
some
folks.
fucking
For some people sitting at a
Arctic
table
glacier.
outside there.
You know, the Brandywine
Hello,
Creek.
how are you
Okay.
over there?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Yeah, right. There's somebody, like, you know.
Well, fill me up here.
Somebody's dog is swimming in the creek, you know.
Yeah, no.
Anywho, this is Headwaters Pale Ale. I was a big fan of this when it came out, and we're kind of getting reacquainted here because I don't remember the last time I had this. Headwaters Pale Ale by Victory.
Good stuff.
This is definitely in the theme of the spring thing here. We got the spring and the blonde from Sam, Sierra Spring. This Headwaters is kind of a light. This is not a big mealy IPA.
Perfect.
Cheers. And I got one more. I'm gonna introduce it right now. My boy.
Oh, hold on, we'll talk a little
All
more.
right,
if you
go ahead. I will hide
So,
this one
yeah,
behind
while we're
this second,
drinking
and
real quick.
we will break out a non-local
Yeah.
from a land very, very far away, and I will
Perfect.
introduce in a minute. You know,
All right, folks. So we pretty much touched on everything we want. We got, like I said, we got three weeks left. In spring training here. A lot of guys are going to leave the World Baseball Classic, so we're going to get to see a lot of minor league players and bench players and so forth, and this and that. And
yeah,
that'll
it's going to be
good.
interesting. I would like to see one dark horse guy make the team and play really well, like a solid bench player that you say we desperately need.
If I had to
like
guess
that would
on
be
one-
that would be kind of nice to have somebody like really step up and hit the shit out of the ball and be a solid bench player right there. Be like another guy like Sosa that can come in and like give you some good at bats and just play.
I'm going to say for me, who I think, like I said, I already stated my desire to keep Zach McCamby. That's a long shot as a Rule 5 pick, in the 8th spot in the bullpen. Maybe Leon, maybe Pedro Leon. He's been a good minor league player. He was a hot prospect. I think he got injured.
Injuries suck, especially in minor league players. They get hurt and it kind of screws them.
Personally for me, the Johan Rojas ship has sailed.
We shall see.
You know what I mean?
I don't want Rojas to become another Pache where they try and play him and the participation award days and all that. That stuff's got to be put behind us.
I don't
want to see any more of that shit.
I think he's probably,
and we'll probably be bitching about it when it does indeed happen.
Yeah.
We got Stubbs playing today or Marchand today, and we're gonna put Rojas out there, and we're gonna put like one of the other guys.
I have a feeling that the only thing that could keep him, I think, on the roster would be the right-handed part of the Crawford situation. If Crawford is struggling a little bit against lefties, where Thompson starts mixing him in a few games against a tough lefty in center field. Because if you think about it, Marsh, the other center fielder on the outfield roster, he's going to be in left. Crawford's playing in center. If you have one of them days where a tough lefty and it's Kemp in left field now,
one of them's going to the bench.
You're going to need a right-handed. If he feels Crawford's going to struggle against that lefty, he might want a right-handed. I don't know
They
if
could start the game
Leon,
and get replaced.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Leon's quite a center fielder as he's more a corner outfielder. So
that doesn't matter on this organization, John. You can put anybody in any position.
Not in center field. They do seem to stick to just Rojas and Bader last year.
Marsh can play center field though.
Yeah, but I'm saying if it's a game with the two lefties, that's the one thing I could see Rojas possibly staying on the active roster, being the fifth bench spot. They really like this Moore guy though because, like I said, he can play multiple positions. He has no bat whatsoever. Kind of in a Kingery mode. Again, I'll mention Kingery. We all know his deal. He just had a decent first year up, and then he just couldn't hit. And he moved all over the diamond, and this Moore can move all over the diamond.
Very high expectations. We don't really have a Kingery anymore that we expect. I mean, other than like your Crawford and your Aiden Miller eventually, and Painter. I expect good things from Painter. I want to see Painter succeed.
Yes, we need him to succeed.
We need Painter's our future right now. Like we got some good lefties at the top of the rotation. And like Sanchez is pitching today. Hopefully things went well in 2-3 innings. Two innings he pitched, but we probably missed him already. But
we've seen too many prospects. Rojas being one of them. Dom Brown, Kingery, guys that they told us, or the few Miguel Franco at third base. They just don't pan out. Sixto Sanchez, who we traded for Romuto. So we really need Painter and Crawford and Miller to hit. Our farm system's been just disgraceful, for years.
Do you remember?
No better way to.
Do you recall
put it.
who did we trade to get Luzardo? Was it anything viable? Was it something decent? Did the Marlins get anything good out of that?
I have to look back.
Or was pretty? It was pretty like just
like a minor league swap, but maybe like a decent prospect. I'll have to look back on that one. I forget now.
Because not to poop on the Marlins organization, but I hope that things worked out for them as far as that trade went, because it certainly went well for us.
Well, yes, Luzzardo's been a great pickup. Hey, look,
Villar's a guy, dude. He was solid. He pitched great in Game 2 that we lost to the Dodgers.
Yes.
I was at that game, and I was like, damn.
The problem with the Marlins,
we didn't hit. We didn't fucking hit.
The Marlins don't need no help drafting players, turning out pitchers. They're like the Braves. They do it. The problem with them is they can't keep them.
They can't keep them.
They just
keep
don't
them.
have the fan base, the
they-
money,
they
whatever.
exit- they
the Marlins
exit
for
like
years, it's a revolving door of great players that come.
It's a war-torn country.
The Montreal Expos back before they were disbanded.
Yeah.
The
Expos was like a
constantly
minor league.
turned out people. They
It's
just
like minor
churned
league
them out.
camp up north.
Randy Johnson.
Yeah, all them guys. Yeah, I
it's
remember the Expos is a very fine example because there's a lot.
some
there's a
teams
lot
just
of players that
the
came.
Marlins for me. You want a pitcher, you go to the Miami
Go to the
Marlins. You
Marlins.
find the Marlins,
Yeah.
you get one of their
They
pitchers.
seem to get a lot of people,
if you can.
guys
I mean,
out of
look,
the Dominican. And
we got
stuff.
Luzardo, we got JT from we got a battery mate right there. I mean, so the Marlins have. They just seem to churn out players, and then they hit their peak, or they're starting to come up for their first big contract, and they get traded
they got to
away.
go because they're not going to give them the like $60 million.
It's a shame, and next year we're probably going to have a strike. We know with the collective bargain agreement coming up, and
so again, go all in.
I would like to see. Well, yeah, this year.
Go in on the trade deadline too, Johnny.
I mean,
We're talking trade deadline by the end of April.
I mean, I don't know how they're going to.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to address this collective bargaining agreement thing.
I don't either.
I would like to see. I would like to see something where those teams can be competitive. You know what I mean? It can't just be the Dodgers with $400 million.
Like the Rays, the Pirates, the Pirates.
Hey, look,
freaking
the Phillies
Rockies.
are guilty with $300-something million.
Yeah, we are. Oh shit, yeah.
I don't know if you're going to set a hard cap where a team has to spend 180 and you can only go up to 300. Maybe they do it that way. Something has to be done. You can't have the Pittsburgh Pirates got a beautiful stadium out there.
They do,
and they just can't. Their owner's cheap. They
May
can't win a division.
15th and 16th.
It's just a shame. Miami's got a great stadium down there in Miami.
Sure.
I mean,
George says it's all right.
You can't enjoy it because there's just nobody there. You know what I mean? So it kind of sucks for teams like that. I mean,
how about the Rockies? That's probably a decent stadium.
Yeah, I mean, just teams that just
not
can't
now.
compete. The A's are moving again. They can't compete. It's a shame for baseball fans.
When they go to Vegas, hopefully they'll probably spend. I feel like the A's are knocking on the door to
it's possible
get going.
It's possible. It's possible they can spend. Maybe
How
Vegas
about the Angels? That's probably a beautiful ballpark.
Yeah,
out there in
sure.
Anaheim,
I mean, there's plenty of them.
They got Trout and nothing else.
I mean, look, we went through it from 2012 to 2022 when they finally made the playoffs. There's nothing worse than your team just being out of it by July, by the 4th of July.
How about the Orioles?
Your team has another beautiful stadium. It's a shame when your team's out of it. It's just you look up in the stands, you watch a game back in the Phillies. We were sitting wherever we wanted. Remember,
right,
40,000 seat stadium with 16,000 people in it. It's got to suck for the players. It sucks looking at it on TV. I mean, beautiful day, in June, July, August, they stayed 40,000 people.
I know.
It's not a lot to ask for a baseball game to sell that stadium out, but if the team sucks,
I mention so Phillies in Pittsburgh in May this year, which is cool. You guys are going to be away on doing your thing.
Yeah, we're away in May.
You're away.
Yep.
And then Saturday, August 1st, Phillies in Beemore.
Baltimore.
Hopefully that's a night game because it's freaking August 1st.
Hot down there.
Fuck.
2 years. When we had 2 years ago, we went down there, right?
Yeah, I got to look at the July 18th game too versus the Mets. Hopefully that's not a 4:00er. I forget. I got to look. I forget. I don't like the 4:00 games in the middle of summer, man.
Well,
even 4:00, it's hot.
Got to be in the shade.
My seats aren't in the shade.
Well, you got to move back a little bit and stand for a while.
I roast like a duck. I'm like a piece of ham at a buffet.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
But here we go. Let's do it. Let's wrap it up. Okay, I'm really excited for this one. It's a what's it called? Let me name the brewery here. I read this yesterday. From the Brewed and Can by Grand Teton Brewing Company in Victor, Idaho. Okay, the story behind this can is Park Citra IPA. It's a Citra IPA. Obviously, it's going to drink an IPA, but it's not going to be too boozy.
Do you like it in a can?
I like this can.
Okay.
Stop.
Curious.
Anyway, my buddy Jeff was out there
like that
skiing,
over there, huh?
skiing at Grand
Almost had
Targhee.
him.
Yes, don't start with me. Fucking shit day already. Grand Targhee, skiing out there for like 6 days, and he brought me back this can.
Fill her up.
Yeah, let's do this. I'm really excited. And thanks a lot, Jeff, for hooking me up with this. Because I'm always about like beers from other states. Like I got a can from Idaho. It's probably like one of a handful.
Jeff, thanks for sharing the can.
Yeah, Jeffy. I'm gonna finish my Headwaters and rip the rest of this. My buddy Jeff and I skied yesterday. Had an outstanding day up in the Catskills yesterday. Beautiful weather, bluebird sky like today.
Ooh, that's
Fortunately,
good.
it
Very
wasn't
good, very
this
good.
warm.
It's very good.
Yeah. This is they don't drink shit beer out there, dude. Everything's
good.
just quality stuff.
Cool looking
But
can, too.
yeah,
Buffalo
winter is
Ring.
not over until I put my skis in a basement.
Well, let's hope it's over. I've had enough.
They
of
might
this
go in
snow and
the,
all
they
this
might be in
shit.
my laundry room by the end of March. Mid-March. Who knows?
All right, folks. Well, that's about all we have for this episode. Feel free to comment on it, folks. A little more interaction. Maybe you can ask some questions.
You need
some
beer knowledge.
suggestions.
Where to get a good beer. We can help you out there with too.
Beer, anything, any questions you can come up with the Phillies.
Artillery coming soon.
Yes, we'd like to get down to Artillery
Yes.
Brewing maybe before opening day. Any questions you have, folks, feel free to comment. I'll try to answer them the next podcast on beers, the Phillies, anything.
Chime in. Who's our backup catcher? Who's our backup outfielders? There's a lot of stuff to talk about. So,
Absolutely.
Cheers.
All right, folks. We'll enjoy the rest of the beautiful weather we're having
Phillies.
this
We're
weekend
gonna go inside
and this
and watch
week,
some
I
Phillies.
believe,
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
So
yeah.
have a great weekend, folks.
Yeah, cheers. Go Phillies.
Cheers, bro.
Yeah, man.